You ever notice how some people just can't catch a break? Like, no matter how much they try, life keeps throwing punches harder than before. That's Lola Gunderson in Sullivan's Crossing. She's not the villain. She's not the angel either. She's the girl who got stuck between guilt, betrayal, and secrets that were never hers to carry. And what if I told you, the same man who became her father figure was also the one who once almost ruined her life? Yeah. That one truth could shatter everything you thought you knew about The Crossing. But before we unpack that, let me ask you something. Have you ever loved someone who only saw you as a replacement? Because that's the twisted part of Lola's story. Slight pause, looping curiosity tone. When Maggie left for her big, shiny life in Boston, everyone forgot the quiet girl who stayed behind. The one who held the broken pieces of other people's messes. And when she finally thought she'd found family again, it turns out her father figure, Sully, had been hiding something that would burn her from the inside out. But hey, before we go deeper, if you love stories that peel back human emotion layer by layer, betrayal, regret, redemption, then hit subscribe, because this channel is built exactly for you. We don't just watch drama, we feel it. Now let's go back. Back to the night everything changed. Lola was still a kid when it happened. It was raining, thunder echoing through Timberlake like the town itself was crying. She was on her bike, pedaling fast, chasing a little freedom she rarely got. Then, headlights. A blinding flash. A scream, and silence. No one knew who hit her. No one except the man who spent years drowning in guilt because of it. Sully. He wasn't drunk just for the sake of it. He was running. From loss. From loneliness. From the unbearable truth that his daughter Maggie had been taken away. And in his chaos, he crossed a line that would haunt him for decades. Fast forward years later, Maggie returns to Timberlake. And Lola. She's no longer that little girl. She's grown, but her scars, those haven't healed. She stands beside Sully. Loyal, devoted, almost protective. But deep down, something inside her senses a shadow. You can feel it in the way she looks at Maggie. That quiet, uneasy stare. Half jealousy, half pain. Because to her, Maggie didn't just come home. She came to replace her. And if you've ever felt replaced by a friend, a lover, even family, you know that burn doesn't fade. Tell me honestly, what would you do if the person you trusted most confessed that they once hurt you in a way you never imagined? Would you forgive them? Or would you break? Drop your thoughts below. I read every single comment, and I want to know, what kind of heart do you have? Sully's truth doesn't explode right away. It festers. Quietly. Because secrets don't scream, they whisper. They whisper when Lola sees him drink too much. When his eyes glaze over with shame. When he calls her, kiddo, just a little too softly, as if trying to make up for something unsaid. And then there's Maggie, brilliant, bold, but flawed. Her career's shattered by a fraud scandal she didn't even cause. She returns home desperate for peace, only to find herself face to face with a girl who basically replaced her in her father's heart. Tension brews like wildfire under the small town calm. You ever been in one of those towns where everyone knows your business, but still pretends not to? That's Timberlake. Smiles in public, whispers in private. Every look between Maggie and Lola feels like another unspoken battle. And Cal, the so-called California Jones. Handsome, grounded, and caught in the middle of a storm he never asked for. Lola sees him as a spark of hope. Maggie sees him as a second chance. And Sully, he sees the old wounds opening again. Lola's world feels like quicksand. The harder she tries to hold her place, the deeper she sinks. But the universe has a cruel sense of timing, doesn't it? Just when Lola starts finding her footing, the truth comes out. Sully confesses. He was the one who hit her years ago. Imagine standing in front of the man you trusted like a father, and realizing the same hands that held you safe were once covered in your blood. Lola breaks. But not loudly. She doesn't scream or curse him out. She just goes quiet. That dangerous kind of silence that feels heavier than anger. And Sully, broken, shaking, admits everything. He wasn't trying to cover it up. He just couldn't forgive himself enough to say it. Every favor, every bit of kindness he ever gave her. Now it all feels poisoned. And that's the cruelest thing about guilt. It makes love look like manipulation. Lola's mind races. Was he kind because he cared, or because he owed her? That's the question that will haunt her, and us, for the rest of the season. But here's where Sullivan's Crossing surprises everyone. Instead of collapsing under the weight of betrayal, Lola does something unexpected. She stays. Because maybe, just maybe, the only way to heal is to face the very pain that broke you. And that's just the beginning. Next, We'll go deeper into Lola's tangled love life, her rivalry with Maggie turning into a strange, emotional friendship, and how a shocking twist in Season 3 changes everything we thought we knew about her past. They say love heals everything. But what if love becomes the next wound? After Sully's confession, Lola tries to breathe again. But breathing in Timberlake is tricky. Every inhale reminds her of what she lost. Every exhale reminds her of what she's afraid to feel. And right when she thinks she's finally free from the chaos, someone new walks into her life. His name, Jacob. And trust me, he's not the savior she expected. Let's rewind to that night. The bar was glowing in soft amber lights, a rare quiet evening where Lola wasn't defined by her pain. She laughs, really laughs, for the first time in months. Then, boom. She spills her drink all over the guy next to her. Cue Jacob. Charming, awkward, with a smile that looks like he's hiding something. The kind of guy who makes small, town girls dream of running away, but also too kind to be real. And for once, Lola feels seen. Not as the broken girl Sully protected, not as Maggie's shadow, just Lola. But in Sullivan's Crossing, peace never lasts. It never does. A few weeks later, fate decides to play its favorite game again, test her happiness. A mine accident. Jacob and Lola trapped underground, pitch black, freezing cold, both fighting panic. And here's where it gets wild. Jacob starts collapsing. Diabetic shock. No insulin, no way out. Lola's heart pounds like thunder in her ears. She remembers her mother's illness, the hospital smell, the helplessness, and suddenly it's all back. But this time, she refuses to lose someone else. She finds the courage to inject him, hands trembling, voice cracking. And when he wakes up, it's not just relief. It's something more. A bond forged in fear. Real talk. Do you believe trauma can create real love? Or is it just two broken souls clinging to the same storm? Comment below what you think. Because for Lola, that moment changes everything. Jacob becomes her light, until the light starts to fade again. He has to leave for Alberta. School, family, life, things Lola can't compete with. For once, she finds someone who actually wants her, and yet, fate gives her an expiration date. But when Jacob says he's willing to give it all up, to stay with her, that's when you realize how much she's grown. She tells him no. She tells him to go, because Lola's love isn't about control anymore. It's about courage. She knows what it's like to be trapped by grief, by guilt, by someone else's mistakes. And she won't be the reason someone else stays small. That's growth. Painful, but powerful. But this is Sullivan's Crossing. Every time you think you're healing, the past knocks again. And this time, it's Maggie. The rivalry that started from jealousy starts to shift. Because when Maggie learns the full truth about Sully's guilt, she sees Lola differently. Not as a rival, but as another daughter carrying a wound she didn't deserve. They start talking, slowly, awkwardly, and in those talks, something changes. The two women who once competed for Sully's love begin to understand that both of them were victims of the same broken man. One abandoned, one overprotected, both scarred. Now imagine trying to rebuild a friendship when your first conversation started with, "You took my father." Yeah, not exactly the girl, bonding movie moment. But here's what I love about this arc. It's real. It's messy. It's human. It's not about instant forgiveness or picture-perfect hugs. It's about learning that pain doesn't always make you enemies. Sometimes it just means you're bleeding from the same wound. And for Sully, it's bittersweet redemption, watching both his daughters, one by blood, one by choice, slowly forgive what life did to them. In Season 3, Lola revisits the spot of the accident, the road where she was hit, and she realizes something that flips the entire story. It wasn't Sully. Let that sink in. All those years of guilt, all those years of pity, kindness, forgiveness were built on a lie of mistaken blame. For Sully, it's freedom. For Lola, it's confusion. Because suddenly, all that pain, all that self-pity, feels meaningless. But that's the real heartbreak of truth. It doesn't always set you free. Sometimes it just changes the shape of your prison. So if Sully didn't hit her, who did? And why did he take the blame? Was it guilt from another secret? Or a desperate act from a man who'd already lost too much? You see, Sullivan's Crossing doesn't just tell stories. It unfolds people. Each season peels another layer of what guilt does to love, and how forgiveness is never clean, never simple. By the end of Season 3, Lola's no longer the sad, unlucky girl. She's different. Still fragile, still flawed, but wiser. She chooses long-distance love over self-pity, chooses truth over resentment, and chooses Maggie as family instead of a threat. And that's where Sullivan's Crossing finds its heartbeat. Because sometimes, the people who hurt you the most aren't villains. They're just broken humans trying to make things right in the wrong way. If you've ever had someone in your life who made mistakes, but still tried to love you through them, you get it. You know what Lola feels. And that's why we love her. She's not perfect. She's real. Now, I want to hear from you. Should Lola forgive Sully completely? Should she and Jacob get their happy ending in season 4? Or should she finally find peace on her own? Drop your thoughts in the comments. And if you haven't yet, hit subscribe because in the next part, we're going deep into the forbidden side of Timberlake. The secrets no one talks about, and the betrayal that might destroy Sully's legacy forever. But before we jump there, what would you have done in Lola's place? Stayed? Forgiven? Or walked away forever? Let me know in the comments. Your take might just make it